Welcome back to Indiana Diecast Racing, home of epically long tournaments, fantasy cars, and probably the worst track you've ever seen. It's the first round of the Final Fantasy Fracas, and today we've got groups 15 and 16, out of 92. Group 15 is a doozy, starting out with the heaviest car in the tournament. Heather from Uncle Elvis Racing is driving Sparkles, a zoom-in unicorn Frankenstein thing weighing a massive 186 grams. Another of the super heavies, and probably the largest entry in physical size, it's Agent 905 representing 905 Diecast. He's driving Clever Girl, a cabin fever with a T-Rex on the bed, weighing in at 132 grams. From Flips Racing, it's Flip himself at the helm of Jack the Hammer, another zoom-in Frankenstein weighing 165 grams. And lastly, from G4 Diecast Racing, it's Baby G Jamboree, riding Super Baby Kart, a 143-gram zoom-in Mario Kart mashup. Over 600 grams of car on track all at once. Heather and Flip quickly build a lead over the outside lane. Flip chases Heather down the coroplast and she wrecks! No! She's back on her wheels and continues to lead like nothing happened. And Heather just beats Flip to the line on a very fast first lap. Looks like Agent 905 is checking out the Bay City sign. Hopefully that T-Rex doesn't get loose. And Baby G Jamboree is over at Dragon Wheels. Amazingly, all those babies are still securely strapped in. Heather totally biffs it in Echo Base, takes a shot from Flip, but enters turn 4 at just the right angle. She's able to convert that momentum into a self-righting action and hardly loses any speed at the same time. Flip continues to chase and comes up a quarter car length short at the line. Two drivers finished and nothing on the track is broken after one. Flip and Heather continue the battle, sharing the front row. Flip and the babies get out front, and Agent 905 is lagging behind. The babies chase Flip through Echo Base, and they nearly wreck. Flip takes lap 2 easily. Here comes the Baby G Jamboree for second, and Heather for third. Looks like we're going up top. And Agent 905 is wrecked up by Hagrid's hut. The babies had a good strategy following Flip's line, but they bounce out of Echo Base and nearly wipe out in the super dangerous logo turn. If you watch closely, they actually skip through the inside of turn 5, but seemingly make it back on the track. Flip assumes the lead and Baby G Jamboree now on the board. The babies survive their back row starts, now on the pole for lap 3. 905 still slower, but doing better than lap 2. The babies struggling to block Flip, and it's a 3-car battle entering the Savage Square. They come to the final straight, and Baby G is wiped out. Flip and Heather will blast on by for a 1-2 punch that will likely bring this group to an early result. And Agent 905 is again on his side. After 3 DNFs, he'll be done for sure. Baby G Jamboree only managed a half car length lead on Flip entering the Hogwarts turn and had to throw a slide block to stay out front heading down the coroplast. That sets up a dangerous 3-car blob through the S section, and the babies narrowly avoid wrecking. Things seem to calm down in the square, but Flip throws a savage pit, wrecking the babies and paving the way for his second consecutive win. Flip and Heather lock up their spots in round 2. Lap 4 will just be for fun. Agent 905 looks to finish his first lap starting from the pole. Baby G and Flip get a much faster start in the outside lane. Flip all over the babies looking for another win. Flip spins the babies. Ooh! Well, it won't matter, that was a photo finish. And well, 905 made it nearly to the final straight, but is wrecked once again. Heather stuck behind him. Lots of fine new logo signs on the back part of the track there. Wow, Flip by a hair. Flip wins in near perfect fashion. Heather from Uncle Elvis Racing advances as well. On to Group 16, and in stark contrast to the last group, it's all tiny cars. Weighing in at a shockingly high 80 grams, Dragon Ball G, another racer from G4 Diecast, is in Mother of Dragons, a Nash sporting a blue roof dragon. Representing Arlo Racing, Selena Red Sparks returns in her second tournament here, driving Gudetama, a casting of the same name that literally means lazy egg, weighing 62 grams. The next driver is from Big Al's Custom Diecast. Bonnie is driving El Gateau Noir, a 38-gram catapult. Lastly, it's George, representing Uncle Elvis Racing in R2-D2, an R2-D2 weighing a near tournament low 31 grams. This should be interesting at least. Dragon and Selena up front, Bonnie and George in the back. Dragon Ball G quickly pulls away and he's all by himself heading down the coroplast. Selena spins around and she tumbles off the track. There's Bonnie, and Dragon is slowed, but he's going to coast to the victory on a chaotic lap 1. Bonnie is stalled out by the Party Wagon trophy, and George and R2 are appropriately wrecked in Echo Base. They're looking for Selena, and she's way down on the subtrack safety surface. Selena has trouble on the coroplast, then tumbles out of Echo Base, dropping to the final straight and crashing into the tan Blackhawk before falling again to the subtrack safety surface. An easy solo win for Dragon Ball G. Hopefully the other drivers figure out how to navigate this track. Bonnie moves up front to challenge Dragon Ball G. She hangs on through turn 1, but Dragon turns on the jets. They get strung out, and George passes Bonnie on the coroplast. Dragon cruising well ahead as Bonnie chases George. Dragon Ball G wins. Here comes George to take second, Bonnie a close third. And poor Selena is off track, ironically next to Arlo's wrecked hauler. George took advantage of a spin by Bonnie and he winds up with second as a result. Dragon Ball G running away with the group while Bonnie and George are fighting for second. Speaking of Bonnie and George, they share the front row for lap 3. Bonnie gets a solid push from Dragon, and this is their closest start of the day. They round turn 2 and get single file, but Bonnie takes a weird bounce, and Dragon Ball G is suddenly back out front. George is holding up Selena in the back while Bonnie tries to chase down Dragon. Bonnie spins in the final turn, and Dragon will run away with the turkey. Selena comes spinning down the final straight and overtakes Bonnie, but Selena stalls out, and Bonnie will take second just ahead of George. Lazy egg indeed. An unfortunate bounce by Bonnie, and Dragon was right there to take advantage. I thought for sure Selena was going to grab second place, but that Gudetama is just not able to handle the flatness of the final straight. Dragon Ball G clinches round 2, while Bonnie and George are left to go mano a mano for second. This will be interesting. Selena and Dragon on the inside lane, George in front of Bonnie on the outside. The inside lane is fast. Ooh, George explodes off the track almost like he hit a landmine. Selena doing all she can to stay in front of Dragon. Oh, and she tumbles off the track again just like on lap 1. Well, at least she didn't hit any of the logo signs. Dragon Ball G wins again, and Selena's safe on the subtrack safety surface. Going up top, it looks like Bonnie is trapped behind George, and it'll be a triple DNF. Taking a look at George, he seemed fine. Must have hit a seam or something. And poor Selena, just unable to make it to the finish line. Dragon Ball G puts up the first perfect score of the tournament. Bonnie and George are tied, so you know what that means. Bonnie has randomly won the coin toss and starts on the inside. Here they go, one lap to rule them all. Bonnie quickly gets well out front. I don't know if George has anything left in the tank. He spins wildly, but he's still rolling. Bonnie's come to a stop in the square, but now George is stalled again, so we're gonna have to reset. Out of fairness, they've swapped lanes and will give it another go. George gets ahead for just a moment, but Bonnie pours it on and she spins to see where George is. Here he comes, he's not done yet. Bonnie takes the lap anyways because George is in fact done. Bonnie earns the right to move on. Congratulations to Flip, Heather, Dragon Ball G, and Bonnie. This has been Jim D for Indiana Diecast Racing. Be sure to check in next time for more slightly above mediocre diecast racing and the continuing round 1 action of the Final Fantasy Fracas. It's the worst track you've ever seen, the worst track you've ever seen. You gotta make 'em wreck, but protect his spleen. It's the worst track you've ever seen.